Hello everyone and welcome back to my guide for beginners of Dota 2. Today, this is day 4, we're going to be talking about vision. Everything that it does, everything we can use it for, how we can use it to beat the enemy team, so on and so forth. There's going to be some things in this video that might seem like trivia, but I'm going to try to keep it only to things that actually matter. So things will have an impact on the game. To start with, we are going to go over just some absolute basics, and we're going to take a look at a few items, all of these. But later we're going to be looking at a bot match to talk about some spots on the map and vision advantages there, as well as looking at a replay to showcase just a couple of ways to use vision there. Now you're going to notice that I have in my inventory, I have some items. I have some observer wards and sentry wards, I have a smoke, I have a dust, and I have a gem. We're going to start with the observer wards. The observer wards are completely free, and they slowly go into stock in the shop. The shop can hold a maximum of 4 of them, so you want to make sure that if there's wards in the shop that you pick them up. It doesn't really matter which position on the team buys this. So if you're the safe lane carry and you want an observer ward to make your farm safer, pick one up. It's literally free, so there's nothing that stops you from doing that. If you're the support, you should be picking up most of these. Observer wards, what do they do? Well, we're going to go back into the normal camera angle. When we try to place an observer ward, we see this big blue indicator of exactly where this observer ward is going to give us vision. So something that you'll notice is that these trees block line of sight, and if we were to place a ward here, we don't get vision behind the trees. Something else to note is that cliffs, here we'll use this one as an example, cliffs block line of sight so we can't see up cliffs. So all of that is going to block the utility of an observer ward. We're going to want to place these in areas that we can't normally see. So this area over here, I can't normally see. If I place it up here, I'm going to have full vision of this high ground. So what all can we do with vision? Well, we can see the locations of enemy heroes, and we can see the locations of enemy creeps without actually having ourselves or our creeps in a position to give vision on this particular area of the map. That's what this observer ward has given us. We're going to use this to make all sorts of decisions. The other thing that we can do with this information is we can click on enemy heroes, and we can see their current health pools, their current mana pools, as well as what items that they have. Now, what else do we see? Well, we see that this Wind Ranger has a Silver Edge. Now, Silver Edge is an item that allows you to go invisible, and when you go invisible, you can't be seen normally. Keyword being normally. Now, this is where certain items like Dust, Gem, and Sentry Wards are going to come into play. If I put the gem down, you'll notice that I lose sight of her. If I put a Sentry down, you'll notice that I can see her. Put her back invisible, even though she is invisible. That's because the Sentry Ward gives something that's called True Sight within its vision radius. True Sight allows us to see not only enemy heroes. Here, let's go ahead and put this down. True Sight allows us to see not only invisible enemy heroes, but it also allows us to see enemy wards. Both Sentry Wards and Observer Wards. Without our Sentry down, we can't actually see any of these. So the Sentry gives us the ability to see the wards, which gives us the ability to kill the wards. It's worth noting that Observer Wards, while they are free to buy, give at least 130 gold, I think. They start at 130, and they continue to get more valuable as the game goes on. They give a crap load of gold to get rid of. So not only can I deny vision to my opponent here, but I can also get money for destroying her ward. The Sentry Ward only costs me 50 gold, so that 160 I gained by killing it is 100% worth. Anyway, the Sentry Ward that I have here is going to let me see this Wind Ranger when she's invisible. It's also going to let me cast on her, among other things. But the Sentry Ward is stationary. What happens if the Wind Ranger walks out of it? Well, this is where you're going to use an item called Dust. Wind Ranger herself is rather quick, and Silver Edge gives bonus move speed, so it's pretty easy for her to move out of range of this Sentry Ward. Using the Dust is going to apply a debuff to her that lets me see her. It also slows by 20%. So it makes me not only able to see them, but it also makes it easier to catch an invisible hero. I can use dust before or after the hero goes invisible, and I'll still be able to see her. Now, sentry golds cost 50 gold per, and dust costs 80 gold per. Sentry wards are limited. Only 10 can be in the shop at a time, and they regenerate in the shop slowly, so it is possible to run out of sentry wards. Dust, however, is unlimited. Any hero, if the enemy team has invisibility, and your hero is a ganking hero or a high mobility hero, you should have dust on your hero, just so that you can catch. Right, the support on your team with no mobility skills may not be able to get there in time. They should have detection, but there's no guarantee they're going to be in position to use detection. So if you're playing something like a Midstorm Spirit, you should have dust on you so that you can see invisible heroes. You don't have to use it. You can let your support use their detection first and you can save your money, but you should have a dust on you. If you buy one and never use it, you can always sell it to get 40 gold back, and then it's just 40 gold wasted. In the grand scheme of things, it's really worth buying detection as a core, just to make sure that a kill doesn't slip away. A kill is several hundred gold as well as XP and so much more. So buy dust if the enemy team has invisibility, no matter what position you're on. Gem is 900 gold. So what does Gem do that the sentry ward and the dust doesn't do? Well, basically it does the same thing. It's a radius around our hero that we can see invisible units. It has a radius of 900 that allows us to see invisible units and wards. So if we use invisibility on the Wind Ranger, we can see her here, and we can't see her here. Now, what else does Gem do? You'll notice that we have the ability to activate Gem on a 12-second cooldown. When we activate Gem, it actually gives us flying vision and true sight over any invisible things in the area that are in the area of the cast. So we can, by casting it here, we can see the Wind Ranger who's uphill and invisible. It's kind of interesting because it doesn't give us vision of the floor, but it will reveal a hero who's uphill. So if there's a hero uphill here, and we cast it here, we can see the hero because the hero is invisible to us. And there's a ward up here. If there's a ward up here, it'll also reveal the ward because the ward is typically invisible to us. So that's the use of Gem. Now, Gem is dropped upon death. So when this Wind Ranger kills me, she's going to be able to pick up the Gem. And now, all of a sudden when she goes invisible, I have to use dust or sentries. What's kind of nice about a Gem is when you have to, and we'll get into this later when I showcase all the cliffs that are in Dota, but there's a lot of cliffs and it's very good to place wards on those cliffs. Gem allows you to check every single cliff without placing a sentry ward, and this means that over the course of the game you can save money on sentries. This is important because sentries are limited. This will matter a lot more once you have a game where you need sentries and you run out. You're gonna understand. Now, it's also worth noting, if I go and put this Gem down, that dust reveals invisible heroes, but it does not reveal invisible wards. We know that there's a ward right here. If I go and pick up this Gem, I can see it. Dust only affects heroes and units. It does not affect wards as such. So if you want to see a ward, if you want to get rid of a ward, dust does not help you. You need a sentry or you need a Gem. Anyway, from here, I'm going to go into a bot match, and I'm going to show you the cliffs and highlight a little bit to do with flying vision and whatnot. And then I'm going to go into a replay and show you some kind of advanced things that you can do with vision. It's important to know that vision is a pretty high skill cap thing. Not just in the sense of where do I place wards and, you know, do I notice that the enemy saw me? So, you know, if I walk over here and the Wind Ranger comes out of nowhere and just kills me. Or, for example, let's do this. If I place a sentry ward and the Wind Ranger is invisible and I cast a spell on her, she can say, hey guys, the enemy team, they have detection here. They can see me when I'm invisible. And then they can come by with their own sentries or Gem and they can get rid of my ward here. That's one use of vision. But as you get more and more used to the game, more and more used to what information is at your disposal and what information is not, you're going to start noticing moves that your opponent makes that they really shouldn't be able to make unless they know where your team is. And that's going to start giving away where they have vision. So what I want to highlight with those clips from the replay is exactly how much you can do with very, very tiny pieces of information. It is going to be relatively advanced. Just a heads up, I see a single auto attack from a support on a creep camp. I don't even see the hero. I don't see anything major. I see one auto attack hit a creep, and I kill the enemy carry because of it. That little piece of information just tells me that it is safe to go and kill the enemy carry, and so I want to showcase that bit of information later, just to reinforce how much skill potential there is with vision. Also, there's going to be a lot of core players who think that all supports need to do is just place vision, and half the time it's not really about how much vision you have. It's about the quality of the vision that you have, and also about what you do with the information that you've given yourself. If you're not using the vision that you have, then there's no point placing it. We've all had games where our carry is farming in the jungle, he's standing under an observer board, and he watches 3 enemy heroes walk at him. And he gets on the mic and he says, "Hey guys, let's kill this." And then he walks into the enemy team and he just dies like a dog because he doesn't understand his team can't reinforce him. He had vision. He knew where the enemy team was. He walked he walked head first into them, and he just died because he's a moron. If you have the vision and you don't use it, then the vision is wasted. So, it's not just about placing vision, it's also about using the vision that you have well. Something else that I want to note, creeps have 800 day vision and 800 night vision. Creeps can see what's happening on the map. If this Wind Ranger walks past my creep wave, I all of a sudden know where the Wind Ranger is. Whereas if she stands right over here in the fog, I have no idea that the Wind Ranger is here. But the second that she reveals herself to kill a creep, I know exactly where she's at. So, just to recap, we can use vision to identify where enemy heroes are, as well as check their inventory to see what items they have, as well as check their current health and mana pools. We can also see if they have a teleport scroll. We can't see their item cooldowns, interestingly enough. We also can't see their teleport cooldowns, but we can see what items they have, and we can see where they are currently positioned. The minimap. This is one of the places where vision is probably most important, just to emphasize. On the minimap, even though I'm looking at whatever my hero is doing off in these bushes, I can see the Wind Ranger's icon on the minimap. I can see the creeps on the minimap. If the Wind Ranger is, let's say, standing in the middle of this wave and she goes invisible, she just disappears without being next to the edge of the vision, I know that she went invisible. This might mean that she saw something or that she wants to do something. Anyway, seeing a hero, you don't just know where the hero is. If we watch the Wind Ranger, if the hero is standing here, and all of a sudden she uses her mobility skill to run faster and goes invisible and runs off here, we know that she wasn't... We know 2 things. We know she was in the mid lane, and we know that she's heading over this way. So anyway, that's a couple of things that we can use vision on. Vision's going to make a lot more sense once you start trying to use it in your games. The biggest thing to understand is that it's not extremely simple. It's not as simple as place a ward and congratulations, now your team has vision. Where you place a ward, there's a skill difference. Higher skill players will place better wards than others. Lower skill players will just buy wards and place them in stupid spots. Placing a ward that you know is going to get dewarded, that's a mistake. Placing a ward that sees nothing useful, that's also a mistake. You are limited on how many wards you have and how many you can place, so if you waste them, your team just has less vision because you're bad. So I just want to cover that. There's a huge skill cap when it comes to utilizing vision, placing vision, and as well as just telling whether or not the enemy team has vision. So, one last little bit of something I want to say about this. You want to treat your creeps as if they are mobile wards. Your creeps are going to run down all 3 lanes of the map, and that's going to tell you an awful lot about where the enemy team is, as well as where the enemy team is not. Anyways, with all that stuff out of the way, hopefully now you understand a little bit more about vision. Let's go ahead and jump into the demo, and then from there, after the demo, we're going to jump into the replay, and then we're going to jump into some hero-specific exceptions on vision after that. So, really quick, when you get into a game, if you're playing the position 4 or the position 5, you want to make sure that you pick your hero in the first phase. Just because there are counter picks in this game, and you don't want your cores to be counterpicked, your mid or your safe lane or your off laner, even for that matter, to be counterpicked in the first or second phase. So by picking your heroes first, you kind of shield them from that. Secondly, you're going to want to pick up as many of the support items as you can. You want to purchase 1 Smoke of Deceit at the start of the game, buy at least 1 Sentry. Also, be an absolute lad and ask your mid if they want a ward. If your mid doesn't answer or says they don't, go ahead and take the extra ward if no one else does. Just because it does literally nothing if it's sitting in the shop. Now, we're going to hop into a bot match real quick, and we're just going to go over some items as well as some locations on the map, as well as a couple of concepts, just real quick to introduce you to them, all having to pertain to vision. Now, vision is the sort of thing, you use it to gain information, and you use that information to kind of guide your actions. So, why did I pick Batrider? Well, so that I can use this Firefly skill when we're talking about vision. That's the only reason I picked Batrider. What's in my inventory? I have Smokes of Deceit, which we'll get into later. I have Dust, which we'll get into in a little bit. And then I have Observer Wards and Sentry Wards. Now, Observer Wards are free. Sentry Wards cost 50 gold. So with Observer Wards being free, you want to pick them up as they come into the shop. They are limited, but anyway, we'll talk more about that when we talk about the shop. I'm going to place this Observer Ward here, and you can see that it gives me vision. It gives me vision over the trees, up, down the cliffs, all that. I can see the whole area, and the Drow Ranger cannot see me. Now, when you go to place it, you're going to see this big blue indicator of where exactly it gives you vision. You'll notice that the ward on the cliff can actually see over all the trees, and you'll notice that the other ward I'm trying to place, its vision is obstructed by the trees. It has to line of sight because it's on the floor. Whereas if we go over here and look at this cliff up here, you'll see that the blue indicator says it can see over top the trees. I'm also going to use Firefly real quick just to demonstrate that heroes, if they go up on this cliff, they get unobstructed vision, or flying vision, as it's often called as well. One of the things that wards are going to do, and I did not actually plan this, it just turns out that he happened to call his courier. In the early game, wards can be used to spot couriers. An excellent spot for it is going to be places like here on the map. You're going to be able to see a courier walking through the lane or walking through the jungle. An alternative spot is right about here or up on this cliff. This cliff also works. You'll be able to see couriers walking through here or here. You can also go really deep and try to place them somewhere behind the mid to see the mid's courier. This isn't so popular right now just because it's really hard to kill the mid's courier. You know, there's a tower here and here and here, so sniping that courier is rather difficult. But the point is that I saw the Tidehunter's courier. The Tidehunter's courier had a healing salve on it, so I know, you know, even if I wasn't standing here to kill it, I would still know what item was going towards Tidehunter. So these cliffs, what are they? What does this little symbol mean? Well, this little symbol, quite frankly, means almost nothing. It just identifies a cliff where you can place a ward. These cliffs are all over the map. Just to cover them really quickly, we have one here. It sees this whole area over here. We have one here. It sees this area around the Roche Pit. This whole area here. We've got one here. It sees this whole area. We've got another one here, and it sees this whole area. We've got another one here, and it sees this whole area. We've got one right here, and it sees this whole area. One here, that we already showed, and it sees this whole area. Another cliff here that sees this whole area. A cliff here that sees this whole area. and one cliff. Where's it? Here. Let's see this whole area. You don't have to use these spots, but it's useful to know that they exist. Now, what else can we do with vision? Well, we can check inventories of heroes. So if I select this Wraith King, I can see that he has a healing salve. I can see that he's got 3 tangos. If I select this enemy hero, oh, this Tidehunter, he has boots. This Lich, he has tranquil boots. This is really important information for trading. So for example, when you trade with a support with tranquil boots, they have 12 health regeneration, which means that if you don't kill the support, he just heals back up to full health. So you're not going to try and chip this Lich down because he's not going to take chip damage. You might, some heroes, someone like a Skyrath, might use spells to harass somebody, but if you're trying to harass somebody with tranquil boots, it's kind of wasted effort. So seeing that this Lich has tranquil boots tells us that it's going to be very hard to actually harass him out of lane because he's going to have a ton of regen. Alright, so that's going to be it for the demo. We're going to move on to the replays now. Now, something to note is that we're going to end up talking about vision constantly. Vision is going to help us make all sorts of strategic decisions, and it's going to give us all sorts of information. So we'll be constantly coming back to vision as its relevance, even as we go into other topics, because information determines strategy, and vision gives information. So it will always be relevant, and there will be more said about that in the future. I'm going to go into 2 specific examples from a recent replay, and then we're going to go into some hero-specific stuff. Now, often when we're talking about having vision, it's really easy to point to extremely obvious examples, so I picked this because it's not quite as obvious as an example. I'm playing Elder Titan. I have just seen my Mars recently died in this lane. This Alchemist over here, he's very low. I'm full resources. I'm the support in this lane. Venomancer was just killing this camp. He just finished killing this camp. And now, I have to be concerned that if I try to go for this and Venos comes and slows me, the Venomancer can actually kill me. What I end up doing is trading with this Alchemist just a little bit, but while I'm taking this fight, I am entirely just watching right over here, this area right here, to see if Venomancer walks through here. I'll have vision here from the creeps, and I'm watching this area over here to see if Venomancer walks through here. I'm using this vision. I know that Venomancer is in this area. I know that I can kill this Alchemist if no one interferes. I know that if Venomancer comes to interfere, I die, and I'll have to back off before Venomancer gets to me. So I'm going to use my vision as a way of judging whether or not it's safe for me to go and kill this Alchemist. As I watch, the creep camp spawns. I see a Plague Ward attacking. This doesn't tell me anything. But then, I see a Venomancer auto attack. I refocus on my hero, and I say, you know what, Alchemist? Venomancer's killing the small camp. You're dead, buddy. And then, I punch him. He walks into my vision. I don't act, there's trees here. I actually end up auto-attacking him through the trees. Just because I have vision here and he was technically within my melee range. I picked this clip because there's so many little examples of how the vision helps me here. And also, the fact that I saw Venomancer auto-attack this small camp just told me that he wasn't in response range to stop me from killing the Alchemist. That's the only piece of information that I needed to know. That small piece of information told me that I was safe to turn on the Alchemist when I was over here and just go for the kill. Because I knew that his hero was not close enough to stop me. I picked this clip not because it's the cleanest, most obvious example, but because it's an example of how much you can do with a tiny piece of information. How big seeing one auto attack from Venomancer. I didn't even see his hero. I just saw one auto attack hit the small camp, and that was enough to tell me that I could kill the enemy carry. That's why I chose this clip. It's such a small piece of information that has such a huge impact on the game. Now, vision can also be used on someone like a carry to make decisions about where they're going to farm. So I jump forward to this point in the replay just to highlight that the Pangolier over here He's actually pretty strong compared to this Weaver, and the Pangolier has been shoving out top, which is why Weaver's in the jungle. Now there's a team fight that's happening over here. The Alchemist is about to get picked off, and we see that the Pangolier is TPing to his shrine to reinforce his team. We see that he's leaving this lane, and then if we just watch this Weaver, we see that Weaver, given that he knows that Pangolier isn't here, is going to be able to safely go and farm this lane. Knowing that there's no one from the enemy team here makes it so that it's very safe for this Weaver, even though he only has 800 HP, to go ahead and push this out. And you want to use information like this in order to make decisions. So the enemy team has no tier 1. They had one Pangolier over here. There were 3 heroes bottom. The Weaver is actually completely safe to kill not only this wave, but he's completely safe to kill the next wave as well and shove this lane all the way up to the tier 2. He's safe to do that because he knows that enemy heroes TP'd bottom. This is another just example of the kind of information that you get when you watch the enemy team teleport. You know that their teleport is on cooldown. Teleports have an 80-second cooldown, so 80 seconds before Pangolier, Rubik, and Grimstroke can TP anywhere. So however long of a walk it is for them to get from the bottom tier 2 to the top tier 2, Weaver is safe to kill this creep wave and the next creep wave, and then he can go back to jungle. Having that bit of information makes his farming pattern more efficient, whilst also keeping it safe enough that he doesn't die whilst farming efficiently. So with that out of the way, we're going to move on to heroes that have non-standard vision as well as vision granting abilities. Heroes have different base stats, and the differences from one hero to another are actually more than people think. Let's take a look at vision differences between heroes, and we'll start with Mars because he has the standard. 1800 day vision and 800 night vision. This is the standard. Most heroes have this. Now, there's a whole bunch of exceptions of heroes that have different vision setups. So for example, Night Stalker has 800 day vision and 1800 night vision. Interestingly enough, Bane also has bonus night vision, but he's not the only one. Bounty Hunter also has 200 additional night vision. Where's Slark? There's Slark. Slark has 1000 more night vision than other heroes. And Luna has standard vision, but with Lunar Blessing, she gains up to 1000 additional night vision. And Spirit Breaker, he's got standard vision, but at his level 10, he has a talent for plus 500 night vision. Oh, there's one other hero that most people probably didn't know had additional night vision, and that's Sniper. Sniper has 600 additional night vision. Batrider has 1600 day vision, so minus 200 day vision. But he also has a spell which gives him 400 bonus vision. So he has, when he's using Firefly, he has plus 200 day vision, and he has plus 400 night vision over normal heroes. When he's not using Firefly, he's at minus 200. Now, it's also worth noting that there's an item that's called the Moon Shard that grants additional night vision. Now, I'm using Batrider for this demonstration because we're going to be able to see what 400 night vision does. When you have a Moon Shard in your inventory, it gives you 400 night vision, and when you eat it, it gives you 200 night vision. With level 2 in Firefly, we're going to watch exactly how much our vision increases. That's the same increase that a consumed Moon Shard would give. And that second indicator is where you would see with a held Moon Shard. Now, Zeus is a boy that I want to talk about because Zeus has the ability to use his spell, Lightning Bolts, to see a whole big area. He can do this from downhill. It allows him to see uphills. He can also cast it on the ground randomly to look for invisible heroes. And oh look, there's a Ricky. Now Ricky is typically invisible. If we wait for the vision from Lightning Bolt to wear off, we'll no longer be able to see Ricky. But given that we know where he is, we can cast Lightning Bolt just anywhere near here, and it'll give us vision of the Ricky. So, Lightning Bolt, very useful. One of the strongest things about having a Zeus on your team is that he can check for both invisible heroes, and he can also check for wards. You can do the same thing with Puck the Magic Dragon. When you buy Ags on Puck, turns his normal skill, Waning Rift, into a skill that gives not flying vision, but it gives true sight in the whole AoE of the spell. So I can use this to see invisible things. Now, two other exceptions to go over are Bounty Hunter and Slardar. Bounty Hunter and Slardar work almost exactly the same as one another. They get level 6, and then they gain an ability that that you can cast on him. For Slardar, it's called Corrosive Haze. For Bounty Hunter here, it's called Track. If I use Track or Corrosive Haze on an invisible unit, and they walk out of range of my sentry, I can still see them. And we'll go ahead and buy a Purge. This spell can be purged, but it's worth noting that spells like this exist. Bounty Hunter and Slardar are both very good at preventing enemy heroes from going invisible, as well as punishing them from wandering into the range of a sentry ward. Anyways, that's it for me for this video. I've been Zacargo, and this has been day 4 focused on vision. I know this video is a bit of a longer one. In the future, I'll look at... Get back invisible. Anyway, in the future, I'll look at cutting these down to be maybe 20 minutes tops, something like that. 30 minutes of just talking about vision is quite a bit. This video, it takes an absolute tremendous amount to produce, so I'm trying to go with daily updates, daily uploads rather, but this particular video I had to work on over the course of several days. I was able to upload the hero recommendations whilst working on this, but this took me about 3 days to produce. So if you do enjoy, or if you did find this useful, please consider liking, commenting, or even sharing the video. I'm a small YouTube channel, so the best thing that you can do to help me out is to share the video, give other people the chance to decide whether or not they like my content or find it useful. The next video, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to make it on, but I want to do one covering basic strategy, and I want to start getting into specific heroes, as well as specific roles. Probably going to do the roles first because, well, in order to play a hero well, you have to play that hero in a role. So probably going to move on to roles. Definitely going to do a video on controls. That's probably going to be my next one, just going over keybinds and stuff. Definitely need to do a video on the shop, all that. So if you're looking forward to those videos and you think that they might be useful to new players, again, consider leaving a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and consider sharing the video. Also, I stream on Twitch. Right now I'm trying to mostly record and upload stuff for YouTube, but I do usually stream most afternoons, evenings, and on weekends. Link to that is in the description. Anyways, I've been Zacargo. You've been an absolute legend. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you soon with another video for Dota beginners.